All right, what's up, everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this big ball that we call the world. You're back with me, Ian Kane. A massive welcome to this week's first installment of DappRadar Meets. The date today is Tuesday, August the 23rd. So a big hello to all the listeners. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. It's cool to be here, and I hope you're all having a good week so far. So today, I'm pleased to welcome Zack Loy from the play-to-earn gaming project, DracooMaster. Let's do a quick sound check. Have we got you there, Zack? How you doing today, man?
Good, and how are you? So it's afternoon here in Singapore.
Oh, nice.
3 p.m.
Okay. We're in the early morning time, so I'm just getting up and you're just getting to the end of your day. But yeah, thanks for being here, man, and much appreciated. So let me
Thanks
just
for
jump
having
in.
me.
Well, good, of course. Let me just jump into some admin. Just going to tell the guys what's been going on in the world of dApps this week quickly, and then we'll jump straight into the chat, all right? So if you're not already familiar, DappRadar is the world's leader in dApp analytics and tracking. dApps are decentralized applications like DracooMaster. Our data feeds traditional media like Bloomberg and crypto-specific media like Cointelegraph and Decrypt. And at the same time, our products all the way from the portfolio manager to the NFT value estimator give our community the tools they need to navigate the complex dApp and blockchain space. But most importantly, we give you the information to stay ahead of the noise and stay well informed. So, as always, we record these sessions for people to catch up later. If you missed any of the old shows, you can catch them all on YouTube, plus a whole heap of other videos that we've been working on. A lot of educational content there, a lot of guides, a lot of great stuff. So head on over. But not right now, because right now we're going to jump into our chat. And we've also got some prizes up for grabs today, provided by our lovely guests. And if you get those questions in, we've got 5 Summoner NFTs for 5 of the best questions. So, what's been going on in the world of dApps this week? So, one of the biggest stories out there is obviously the Tornado Cash story. It's creating a bit of a domino effect. Things are starting to open up, and people are starting to have different conversations around the stability of the DeFi industry, around the 3 top stable coins, and people are starting to look elsewhere. And one narrative that's starting to come out is people are starting to ask the question, could this affect Bitcoin, and how far will lawmakers go? So it's a pretty interesting time for our space right now. But again, not a negative thing. All these things are inevitable. So we're just kind of watching as it unfolds. Another thing we're watching unfold is NFT marketplace wars. They're heating up pretty nicely. Magic Eden come out swinging with its announcement about Ethereum NFT integration. And as other new marketplaces like GameStop continue to drive interest and volume, it's going to be quite interesting to see how the 90s file sharing site LimeWire comes into the frame here, because we know they're about to launch an NFT marketplace. So it's getting interesting out there. And we're seeing a range of casual play-to-earn games launching on Flow over the last couple of months to really strong reception. Things are looking positive for Flow after they opened up permissionless smart contracts, and now their dApp ecosystem is really starting to grow. So you can check that out on DappRadar. Just go to rankings, hit Flow, and you'll see all the new dApps that have popped up lately. A lot of games there. Also, our latest blockchain game report is out, and it clearly shows how GameFi impacts the blockchain industry. And while the markets are down, GameFi and play to earn is actually driving the most blockchain usage. So it's kind of pulling our industry up right now. And you can find all that stuff on our blog, so many guides, educational articles. But yeah, like I say, don't go there now. Stay here, because we're about to talk to DracooMaster. So, Zack, I always kick off with something I call the elevator pitch. I want you to kind of imagine you're trapped in an elevator with me for a minute, and I have a t-shirt that says I'm an investor. And I want you to tell me why I should be paying attention to DracooMaster. And yeah, you've got about a minute, so no pressure, Zack. Off you go.
Wow, you really didn't prepare me for this, did you?
Hit me with the top line information, Zack.
Yeah,
What should I be excited about?
well, first of all, DracooMaster is a roguelike deck building card game. We have a really holistic play and earn model, whereby we have a very good burn and hold economy. So we believe we are one of the first games to have a very holistic burn economy. And on top of that, we do think we have three parts we did, where we tried to solve the deflationary or inflation of the token. And these 3 parts, well, it's only a minute, so I can't talk about this so much. And I think most importantly, the background of our studio is we are a gaming studio. So the game itself is really fun. There's voiceovers, there's really exciting animations, and the gameplay itself is really fun. It's completely roguelike. Every time you play, it's different. You build different decks, and yeah. So we do think that this is another big advantage.
I'm interested, Zach. I'm interested. You did a good job there. So
Are you sure? It was terrible.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I always bring people with this one. So we've got 3 elements to the game that we'll dive into in talk about. The focus is on gameplay, which is great to hear. And yeah, we'll dive into all those aspects, the tokenomic model, how you're structuring that and things like that. So yeah, thanks for that, Zach. Much appreciated. But now I want to start right at the beginning with yourself a little bit. Tell us about yourself, Zach. How did you end up in this blockchain crypto world? You know, what's your experience like? Are you a bit of a newbie in the space? And if you can, tell us a little bit about your team as well and who's working on the project.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zach, actually was born and raised in Singapore. I lived in the US, China, and India, and all back to Singapore because of COVID.
Wow. Okay.
And I actually only started in this space probably last year, April. So it's only been a year. I'm kind of new compared to a lot of you. But my first experience was definitely the blockchain crypto side with the trading. I've been trading derivatives since I was 18.
Okay.
So definitely the trading side of it. But because one of my friends who trades really heavily in crypto and who used to buy docs back in the day, so I didn't really have a good impression of it.
That's not a nice entry to the world of crypto, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, and he also invested heavily in crypto kitties.
Oh, nice. So, a double-barreled shotgun to the face, basically.
So, but anyways, so before this, I ran my own e-commerce startup in India. Also been running some businesses in China
Nice.
and in Europe as well. So that's kind of like my background.
Okay.
But so how I got it started on blockchain is actually one of my friends that I've known for a long time. He's in a gaming studio. So sorry, he owns a gaming studio. My bad.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then he thought that because of the craze that was in 2021, he thought it was a great idea to start a play-at-earn game. So that's how we kind of got started.
Good shout. So you had the commercial kind of abilities from previous experiences, from launching businesses and things like that, and then just dived into this project. So are you a gamer, Zach? Do you play games much, or are you more of a trader? Like, what's your vibe in terms of dApps? Like, do you play the games, or are you more into the DeFi side?
I would say I'm into trading, but not so much on the crypto side, but more like derivatives, futures, which is what I'm used to. Definitely trade a bit of the currency right now, but not super in depth like that. And
Nice.
Then gaming, yeah, I love games. I play a lot.
Yeah. Nice, man. So you got a good understanding of gaming. And how about the team? Tell us a little bit about the guys you work with on a daily basis. You know, what are their their experience? What do they bring to the team at DracooMaster?
Yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned, one of my co-founders, Scott, he's owned the gaming studio since 2016.
Nice.
So super familiar with the gaming side. They have a tech app as well that has over 60 million subscribers.
Damn.
So really into the social, demo marketing, things like that. And then we also have with us Ricardo Stromat, used to do be the lead artist and do art in King, Crowd Card, Maibo games, like quite a number of studios. So if you look at art in our game, I find it's amazing.
It's nice.
It's
very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course we have a couple advisors and investors helping us with blockchains.
Nice. Is the studio, Zach, that you're referring to is Radbug, right? That's the name of the studio. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, actually, Radbug was formed for DracoWorld. The actual studio he was at is a Brainly Tech Entertainment.
Aha, got it. Okay. Yeah, because I was looking through the website this morning and just trying to kind of figure things out and like the structure. So yeah, interesting. All right, cool. Thanks for telling us about that, Zach. That's really interesting to hear your background.
Yeah.
I always start there because it's nice to understand who it is that I'm kind of speaking to, you know, like where you've come from and what your ambitions are with the project as well. So, but let's talk about the game, man. Let's talk about DracooMaster. What is it, Zach? What do players do? And what's the end goal of the game? Like, give us the kind of top line vision of what you do in the game.
Okay, so basically, DracooMaster is a deck building card game. If you think about it as a mix of Hearthstone and Slay the Spire, you kind of get there. It's actually a lot of people put us in comparison to Axie Infinity. I would say at the first look, it looks similar, but the gameplay and animations are completely different.
Okay.
So, but if you think of it that way, you have three Dracoos that you have to pitch against other teams or against the enemies. There are different gameplay modes. Single player PVE, then you have PvP. Right now we have 2 PvP modes. We just came out with a new deathmatch PvP mode, which is very exciting.
Nice.
And then of course later on you have the GVG.
Okay, cool. So we'll dive into each aspect of the game a bit later, but I just wanted to get that kind of top line vision out there of what it's about. So it's a little bit similar to Axie in its sort of mechanics, but gameplay is a little bit different. Art style is different, but it's a NFT card battling game where you build a deck and then battle against other players as well. So what blockchain are you running the game on, Zach? Is it Binance Smart Chain?
We're currently running it on BSC, well known called BNB.
Nice. BNB. Oh, sorry. Yes, of course. BNB chain now. Of course. Any plans to expand to any more chains? Or one of the things we've seen as kind of a trend is these subnet technology that's come out that people, gaming projects seem to be kind of latching onto subnets as a way to set up. So I'm just wondering, any plans to expand to any other networks or take advantage of subnets?
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna do something cross-chain, but that's not right now. So right now we're focusing on the game launch, which is happening as we speak. In fact, just yesterday, we launched an early access version.
Nice. Okay, cool. So plans to expand in the future, but right now focusing on the gameplay and the new mode as well. All right. So you mentioned the artwork early on there as well, because you've got a team of, and I also saw that you do collaborations on the artwork as well. So tell us a little bit about like the narrative for the game. What are these Dracoos? Like, I take it they are dragons of some kind, but tell us a little bit about the narrative and the kind of the artwork of the game. How did this all come together?
So I'll tell you first about how this came to start. Like being Asian, being in Asia, we definitely wanted something like Asians really like dragons, right?
Okay.
So we definitely wanted something like scary and cool like dragons, but we wanted it to be really cheap as well. So it's really like for mass adoption, right?
Yeah.
So we put together the Dracoos, and one of the things I remember from the 80s, if you want to be, is the Care Bears, right?
Yeah.
And so the Care Bears had these little symbols on their tummies, which I thought was really cute.
Yeah.
So that was one of the inspirations for having those symbols on the tummy.
Nice. I remember the Care Bears. Yeah, it was cool the way they kind of fired power out of their bellies, right? It was a pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was a nice thing. So what about the collaborative artwork that you guys do as well? You work with some sort of already famous artists. I'm guessing it's on that side of the world that they're quite well known. Tell us about that a little bit. Like any kind of partnerships lined up for the future? Anything exciting happening there? And tell us about some of the old ones as well, because the artwork's really cool.
Definitely. So there are 3 parts to this. So we have our art team. We're also actively looking for collaborations, especially artists in Asia. We're very open to moving out of Asia as well, but this is where we began since the target market start was Southeast Asia, right?
Okay.
And Japan and Korea, of course.
Okay.
So that's where we focus at the start. And the third part would be fan art. So all these 3 parts contribute a lot heavily to the art direction that we have.
Nice. How do people, if people are interested to submit art, how do they do that with you guys? What's the process there?
Yeah, so we have fan art competitions regularly. So the last one we had was a couple months ago, and we will be having one soon.
Nice.
As well. But if you're interested in collaborations, you can find either me or Eula. Eula is in charge of our collaboration site on Discord or Twitter.
Okay, nice. So people can shout out to you there. Okay, cool. All righty. So as I said, I was hunting around on the website and doing a bit of homework, and I noticed something that looked pretty cool, and it was called the Breeding Simulator. What is that for, Zach? Is that like a kind of so you can check what will happen? Like, tell us about that because it was interesting, I thought.
Yeah, so we have a breeding mechanism in the game for the NFTs. Each NFT can breed 5 times. So we need 2 NFTs to breed the Dracoo. So there are many possibilities. If you study biology, the dominant and recessive alleles, right? Each Dracoo has 6 body parts. So each body part for each Dracoo has kind of like 2 genes to it.
Okay.
One you can see and one you can't. So when they breed together, quite a number of different possible combinations can come out. So the simulator kind of gives you a feeling for what might come out.
And this is like you don't pay for that or you don't have to transact for that. It's just like you're just finding out in advance, right? It's like a sort of testing ground. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just a simulator.
Nice.
But we will be having our breeding open in another couple of months when the game is underway.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like the look of that because it gives people a chance to basically, understand what they're about to do in advance. So that's cool. What are the kind of entry requirements for DracooMaster? Is it free to play? Is it, how do you get in there? Can you start by not spending any money, or do you need NFTs? What's the kind of mechanic? How do people get involved?
Okay, so like I mentioned, there are a couple different game modes right now. So we have 2 PvP game modes and 1 PvE game mode at the moment. So to play the first PvE and the first PvP game mode, you need 3 NFTs to play.
Okay.
So you actually have to buy them right now. The rental system will come out sometime next month.
Oh, nice.
And the guilds will be launched sometime next month as well.
Okay.
Together with official launch. So at that time, you will be able to rent or able to join guilds with much.
All right, cool. So
For the second PvP mode, which is deathmatch mode, you only require 1 NFT. So once you have that 1 NFT, you can play in that mode. So that lowers the barrier of entry to a lot of people.
Nice, that's cool. That's very cool. So next month you're opening up guilds and like a rental system, so players can come in, rent one of the Dracoos and try and play the game, right? And that's happening next month, you said?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
September.
Nice. That's been a very popular mechanic with a lot of play-to-earn games that, to give people the opportunity to try the game out a little bit before they dive in any deeper. I think that's really good. All right, cool. Something else I saw on the website, I was on the marketplace and I saw that you've got these DRA and BAS vouchers, and I wasn't sure what they were. And is this connected to the IDOs? What are these, Zach? Tell us about this.
Yeah. So, like as you know, we started this game, started developing this game early last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, we did our first NFT sale in December of last year. So it's been quite a while since then. It's been 8 months. In April of last year, we did our first kind of like IDO, whereby we released the vouchers because at that point we were already listed.
Got it.
So release vouchers to create the hype and excitement. People bought them up. But we only let them buy the vouchers until we release on TGE.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, what's happening is that our TGE for the DRA, which is our native token, is delayed due to the market conditions. We wanted to continue building, so we built a second PvP version. We're also building a second game right now.
Okay.
And so once we have the launch officially done, we will look to find time for our TGE. That's when the voucher.
Aha, got it. Okay, so it's like an early investor sequence. Okay, makes sense. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So as you just mentioned there as well, and as I know, you guys launched, I think it was early December last year, right? 2021. Tell us a little bit about those early days. I mean, we're at the tail end of a mighty bull run that had gone on for quite some time. There was a lot of optimism around, but obviously we're in a different place right now. So tell us a little bit about those early days, launching in December, what it was like throughout the kind of early January, February, March. How did it go? What was the feedback from players? Like, yeah, tell us a bit about this.
I think, like you mentioned, the market is completely different than it is now.
Yeah.
There was a lot of excitement. Everything was going up. Everything was going up like, super fast, and sometimes not rationally. People were buying things up. Investors were just like, investing in almost everything,
Yeah.
and the valuations were high. Yeah, like you said, the market was completely different than it is now. But I do think that like a lot of people have said, this crypto winter has weeded out a lot of projects.
Yes.
And it has made a lot of projects relook and rethink what they were doing. I think the good thing was back then, in fact, in about March or April, we were already thinking of building the second version of our PvP as well as the second game. So that's when we started. That's why we were able to release it so quickly this time. So I think we are in a good place. We've built a lot during this downturn in the market, and I think we're ready to launch next month with new versions and with the new game prepared as well.
Very nice, man. And that's exactly what's required. I think that's a really good point that you made there, Zach, about the kind of a lot of projects are going to get weeded out, as it were, during this bear market now, where we'll start to see who the serious players are, who put the correct tokenomic models together and things like that. I think it's I actually think this is a very interesting time. It's a little bit sad, but it's more interesting because it's a time for builders, I think, and a time for us to come for the decent and good projects to step out, right?
That way too.
Yeah, definitely. So, but the markets have cooled, as we've said, and things are a little bit different now. But interesting in gaming and play to earn is still really high, as shown in our report that we put out a few weeks ago. And consistently over the months of this year, gaming is driving blockchain usage. So, how does DracooMaster plan on continuing to attract and then retain players during this time? What kind of tricks do you have up your sleeve?
I think there's a number of things that you have to consider in terms of marketing traction and player retention. Um, and one of the things is having a very good product and making sure that your product continues to move along with the market, having the foresight to build ahead of the market. So in terms of this, one of the things that we've done, like I mentioned, is we've been building, and we started building early before the crack. So we already have our second PvP version out. It's very exciting. It's a deathmatch mode whereby you have the skill to earn. So you need to have some skill to play, understand the cards, understand the deck.
Okay.
So this is one part. The second part is for the game itself is that we have continuity of the token and NFTs. Now, one of the big problems we see in play to earn or play and earn these days is the spiral, the death spiral.
Yep.
And we have three methods of trying to solve this. First, I mentioned is burn and earn model, which is very complete. Second is we have something called soft staking, which encourages people to keep their NFTs. So what I mean by soft staking is you don't have to lock up your NFTs. What you do is you just put them in your wallet, and then they give you like a 10% increase in your earn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's not like a massive increase, but it's enough that it can make players retain. And then finally, we have something called to continue the tokens and NFTs with the second game, and we're building a full Dracooverse to continue the tokens. So like a game incubator kind of thing, or we'll join a further metaverse to bring in our tokens and NFTs to make sure that there's more traction and like different people can use it, maybe with e-commerce, playing different games.
That's DracoWorld that you're referring to there, right, Zach? The kind of metaverse play.
Yeah.
One of the questions I was going to ask is kind of you've got this card battling game right now, and do you have plans to kind of expand that to land elements or some deeper gameplay, so bring some more utility for the NFT? So, yeah, can you tell us a bit more about the DracoWorld, because that looks pretty cool, and like what's the kind of timeline for that as well?
Okay, so basically, the DracooWorld is an idea that we have for the entire Dracoo ecosystem. Now, at this point, we're not sure if we're going to build the entire DracooWorld by ourselves because there's a lot of parts to a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
What we want to do is we want to think about Dracoo and DracooWorld as an ecosystem by itself, whether it's part of another bigger ecosystem or it's a standalone. So what we've started on is the second game. So the second game is going to be like a 3D PUBG kind of thing. It's going to be very exciting. And we also have a wagering mode coming up for the first game, so it's create more traction with the first game. And yeah, so what we're thinking of is having multiple games to continue the tokens and NFTs. So the same NFTs, the Dracoo NFTs, can be used in the first, second, maybe third game. And then once you build this kind of like a small gaming community, then we can either think of building it into something bigger or joining a part of another company.
Makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah. Do you see like a future? I mean, you're talking about different games there as well. Do you see a future where perhaps these Dracoos would have utility inside different games released by you guys as well? Is there any plans for that, or are you completely focused around Dracoo right now?
Oh yeah, definitely. So like the first game, the second game, right now we're focusing on our own games. But once we got these two launched and we have a good traction, I will definitely look into other games and other metaverses and see how collaborations.
Got it. All right, cool. And recently, you guys, literally, I think it was a few days ago, you dropped out this new PVE economic model upgrades, and I'd just like you to kind of go through that a little bit, Zach, because it was literally a few days ago, wasn't it? I think it was 2 days ago, and you put up a Medium article. So perhaps you want to kind of talk through this, because this is the kind of crux of what's going on here. The economic model of the game is the most important thing for sustaining it and to keep people coming. So yeah, maybe you want to kind of outline some of the major changes that are happening here and why they'll be beneficial for players.
Yeah. So P2E has gone a long way from the initial model of where you just keep earning.
Yeah.
So our first changes, even before the market drop, this was back in December, January, February. We already had a model whereby you could spend and burn your in-game tokens. So this was like by strengthening or evolving your Dracoo character. And then you have an appearance change. We also built in a power system whereby every time you pay P2E and you earn tokens with it, the power of your Dracoo drops a little, but you can recharge it by consuming other Dracoos. So we had a lot of these burn and mechanisms to ensure that continuing to token, make sure that the inflation doesn't go crazy. So this is one of the things that we did.
Nice.
But what happened during the market crash was that when the token price drops a lot, when the traction is reduced a lot, there's going to be a very big difference in the way you need to balance your token economy. So what we did is we relooked at our entire economy, and then we built in other more exciting things to ensure that there's even more burn, so that people don't just earn the in-game token and just spend and just sell it. Right?
Yeah.
So we have the new wagering mode coming up. We have increased increased models of earning if you upgrade or evolve your Dracoos. So for example, if you upgrade and evolve your Dracoo, instead of earning just, let's say, 2 BAS, maybe you can get 2.2 BAS.
Oh, nice.
Every time you pay as an average. So this encourages people to actually burn their tokens. And once your Dracoo is upgraded, they will also have a very, very small advantage when you pay the PvP version. Yeah. So I guess it's quite hard to talk about this just by words. But we have a full model.
It's quite a lot of the time it needs to be more visual, but the reason for these sessions is just to kind of get the information out there, give people this kind of top line information of what's happening, and then they can dive deeper. And also there's lots of information out there to absorb as well around all these specific things, because it's pretty hard, right? And a lot of the topics we're covering here are pretty complex. You want to talk about tokenomics, we could talk for an hour, right? So it's just about giving that kind of line. It's difficult, man. But No, what you've outlined there, it makes it sounds very promising. And like the main point is I think that you're focusing on the tokenomic model and the gameplay. And I think that's what the community would like to hear, that there's support there for the fun side of it, because a lot of the time we talk about these projects and we talk about tokenomics and the finance. It is also a game, right, Zach? Like people need to have fun. So that's a big part of it. There's a big part of it as well. But
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Like recently, we've got a lot of games that are kind of popping up and doing the rounds that are kind of really just grinding type games. Like, what do you think the future will hold for play to earn? Do you think it'll be do you think we'll get another division of the category? Maybe we'll have GameFi where it's just kind of DeFi with extra steps, and then play to earn, which is real games. Like, how do you feel about the way it's going in the industry right now for gaming?
So I think definitely people have seen the downward spiral in the inflationary models, and they've realized that this doesn't work, especially if you want to go to the mid or long term, right?
Absolutely.
So people are really moving towards having more fun games, but at the same time, not everyone is able to build a fun game like a big AAA game.
Sure.
Right? So what I think I've seen in the industry is like people are moving to hyper casual games as well.
Yeah.
So hyper casual games. And I think this is quite interesting because like you have Candy Crush, right?
Yeah.
World's most earning chain. And this is, I think this will probably work, but it's a short term thing.
Yeah. Entry level.
And,
right? Like
so yeah, more like entry level. So you'll have the hyper casuals, you'll have the normal games, and then you also have the triple A games. So I think the play to earn space will definitely move towards like a play and earn, or like a play for fun and earn kind of thing. And it is moving towards that. And you have different types of models, different types of games. I do still think that there's some ways to go for this entire industry to mature.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad that it's evolving fast and moving towards the right direction.
Absolutely. No, thanks for that, Zach. I always try to like get an indication of what people think is happening out there as well, you know, how you see it. And I absolutely agree with you. I think there's a massive potential, but we still have quite a long way to go as well. And one of the things that you spoke about there is DracooMaster, and can you download it on the App Store? Is it available for Google Play, or is it a desktop game? How can people access it?
Yeah. So right now it's a desktop. It's a fully desktop game. I mean, obviously you can also run it in your browser on the mobile phone, but it doesn't work as well. So we will build a mobile version as well after we launch.
Nice. Okay.
But right now it's a web-based.
Cool. And you mentioned onboarding there as well. Like one of the biggest challenges I think for any blockchain application right now is onboarding of the masses, as we say. And the ones that we've seen do it successfully are the dApps that kind of hide blockchain activity. They don't really shout and talk about it. You know, it's there. It has to be explained, but they do sort of hide it. What do you think about like the onboarding situation right now in blockchain? And how is DracooMaster kind of dealing with that? Like trying to get players in and making it easy for them? You know, because we want as many people as possible to play, but blockchain's pretty tricky, right? I think we can admit that.
Right. So initially we wanted to build our free-to-play version slightly early on, but we had to put it off because we were building our new PvP and new second game.
Yeah.
So with this idea of having the free-to-play version, that'll be much easier to have like drive mass adoption. Drive people to the free-to-play version first,
Nice.
and they play. If they have fun, they see other people earning, then it's easier to get them to switch.
Nice.
Yeah, the chargeable.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, onboarding is a really serious issue in our space, I think, but people are starting to crack it. And like you said, those you mentioned, Candy Crush. I think some of the Web 2 lessons that are strong, such as onboarding, they did a good job. And I think developers in this space would do well to kind of emulate what they were doing. A lot of the hand holding was really nice in Web 2 games. The things,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like things were explained nicely, right? They were done so that it was easy for the user. And I know with blockchain, it's not always easy, but yeah, like I say, the ones that we see being successful are the ones that are kind of keeping it minimal. So
I think,
go on. Sorry, Zach. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry, just a little bit on that. I think my personal experience, because it was only just last year and a bit
Hmm.
that I started, and my personal experience and experience with some friends that I got in is that it's actually not hard if there's someone guiding you.
Yes,
It just gets really hard if you don't know what to do.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I had a friend who took 2 days figuring it out by himself, like 2 days, like many hours a day. But for me, it was like under an hour because someone just told me, "Oh, you do this, you do that,"
Yep.
and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's not so hard."
Absolutely, man. Couldn't agree with you more. Like I have friends and they call me and they just want a quick, I'm gonna they tell me they're gonna do something on MetaMask and they just want somebody to kind of say yes on the other end of the phone, when they do know what to do,
Right.
but they just need that little hand holding because it's pretty scary. Like you send your tokens to the
Yep.
wrong place, that's it, they're gone.
Yeah.
There's no recall,
Exactly.
right? And be like, oh, I made a mistake. So, but I think you're really right there, and I think that's
Yeah.
an important thing. That if you can handhold a little bit and
Yeah.
you can guide people, and I mean, how do you guys do that? I mean, in your Discord and your Twitter, what's it like in there? What's the vibe? Is it a helpful community? Like, can people jump in and ask questions and kind of do you get answers there? What's it like?
Oh yeah, so definitely we have something we call Dracoo Angels. We're seeing Dracoo Angels. So basically these are the community
Oh,
volunteers
nice.
that are very involved in the project. So we have a special like Dracoo Angels channel whereby myself and some people from marketing department will give them updates and then they will then spread it to the community. So
Nice.
it's very nice to have detailed coming in.
That's really cool. And how can people become one of these angels if they're, say, for example, they're a player and they're super interested? Is there a process there? Like, how can people reach out to you and say, I'm a super player and I want to be more involved?
Yeah, actually on our Discord, we have a channel whereby we talk about it. And also our Dracoo Angels are very, because they're so active in the community, once they see someone that's really active
Ah,
and really involved, they will recommend it.
so they onboard them organically by
That's hard.
seeing what they're doing. Nice, nice, nice. That's very cool, Zach. Very cool. So it
Yeah.
strengthens the community a bit more. That's really nice, man. So where's the best place for people to reach out to you guys? Is it on Twitter, Discord? Where is it that people should come and if they want to find out more, ask questions? Where's the best channels for you guys?
So for us, we do all our informative posts on
Hmm.
Twitter, but that's also tracked in Discord. In Discord, it's more like a community talking about maybe giving some feedback, talking about problems, talking about exciting things that are happening,
Nice.
discussing strategy and things like that.
Very cool, very cool. All right, guys. So you heard that here. So Twitter, Discord for the questions and the conversation, Twitter for the alpha and the releases. So that's interesting. So what can people expect from DracooMaster in the next kind of 6 months, Zach? What's on the roadmap? How are you doing with your roadmap goals? Yeah, tell us a bit about the next kind of few months for you guys. What does it look like?
Okay, before I hit the roadmap, just talk really quickly about our history. We did our Binance NFT launch, IGO. This was in March this year. And then in May, we had our beta launch. And just yesterday, we had our launch of the new PvP version. So next month, what's coming out is our guild rental system and official launch of the game. So with the official launch of the game, everybody will be able, with NFTs, will be able to play. There'll be the guild system and rental system out.
Nice.
The guilds will come in as well. Yeah, and then so once that is done, down the line, we will also have closer to probably end of the year or beginning of next year, we'll have the second game coming out. But that's a little bit further away, a little bit closer. We will have our fourth race. So currently we have 3 races. These are the tank, the carry, and the support. And then we'll have the fourth race coming out in the next 2 months, I think.
Nice. Loads of stuff happening, Zach. Loads of stuff. So the next couple of months is really quite important. So you're saying that the full game is coming out. Is that an alpha release? Will people need to sign up, or is that a general release whereby everybody can jump in and get involved?
No, that's the full release. We already did our alpha and 2 betas
Nice.
actually. So this is the full release.
Talking about the alphas and the betas there as well, Zach, what did you guys see? I mean, I always try to find out, what you learned from those stages when you first released the game and sometimes projects find that players start to do things that they really didn't expect. sometimes they do exactly what they expected them to do. How did it go? What was tell us a little bit about that, like in those early when you did the alpha phase. Yeah, what was the response of the players? What did you learn, more important?
Yeah, so okay, we learned a lot of things. It's very interesting because like I said, our studio is a background of a gaming studio, but it's really different on the blockchain side
Yeah, I
of
bet.
things. And every game is really unique and different. So I think what we learned, first of all, was in different times, the economies of the market will really affect your game differently. And also on the testnet and the mainnet, things are very different. So for example, on the testnet, for example, if there are like a couple bugs, people don't really care because it doesn't affect them
Yeah.
financially. But on the mainnet, if you have any problems, they're going to be like, oh, this is like, why didn't you fix this? But this problem was already in the testnet, but no one told us about it. Yeah, so that's kind of
Oh,
interesting
so
for us too.
they're not reporting the issues because in testnet they don't see it as an issue, but then when it goes full live, it becomes a problem. Ah,
Yeah,
well, that's bad.
exactly.
But again, useful to learn
Yeah.
those things. But yeah, no, Zach, keep telling us like about the kind of feedback. Is there interesting feedback from players? And like, what's the difference between the kind of mobile games? Is it just vastly different what players do and how they react, or there's some similarities there?
I mean, in terms of gameplay, so I would say this is just in general. I would say that in terms of gameplay in the blockchain, the games that you see are not super exciting, not like full
Yeah,
mobile
true.
games, right? But definitely this is shifting towards being more fun. But people are also more accepting of that in the blockchain because there's another part to it where it's financial
Yeah.
for them. So definitely, but we are shifting towards. Hopefully, this helps with as well.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good point, actually. There's always that financial side with the play to earn game that can prop it up. And as you rightly say, people don't expect to see AAA blockbuster games when they come into blockchain games. So it's kind of a nice scenario that the players are kind of ready for that as well. All right, cool. All right, Zach, thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything else that you think players and potential players should know about the project? Any final shouts? Anything else you want to get out there today?
Yeah, I think two things. First thing is, again, I do believe that we have a very holistic token economy. We spend a lot of time building it and also a lot of time
Yeah.
balancing it. We balanced it twice before the crash and after the crash. Right now, what we're doing is we're having a 600 whitelist, whereby we're balancing the final economy before the launch. So please do have a look at our project and its tokenomics. It's very sound, I think. So that's the first part. And the second part is a call to action. So please join us on our Twitter and on our Discord, DracooMaster Official. Can also add me on Twitter, Loy_ZHE. So that's Loy_ZHE, LOY_ZHE. Yeah, and do join us for the game. It's very exciting. The earn has started. A lot of people are very excited about
Nice.
this play and earn.
Nice, man. And it seems like a very good time to kind of join in. A lot of exciting things coming in the coming weeks as well. And as we both said earlier, a lot of the time with these kind of projects, the best way to understand them is to have a go. You get to see the art, you get to see how it works. It's quite difficult to explain a game in words, I would say. So yeah, check it out, see what you think. All right, Zach, thank you so much, man. Like, I really appreciate you taking time out to come and tell our community about this. And as I said, the video will go up onto YouTube later. So there's a lot of topics we talked about today that can be unpacked at people's own time as well. So, Zach, once again, I just want to say thank you for your time, man. Thanks a lot. Maybe you want to give a final shout, say thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ian, for having me and DappRadar community. We look forward to having all of you together in DracooMaster. Thank you so
Nice,
much.
man. All right, guys. So that's it for today. I want to thank Zach again for being here and telling us about the project. I hope everybody learned something today. And I just want to say to you, Zach, good work, man. It's not easy doing what you guys are doing. So an exciting couple of weeks ahead for DracooMaster. So yeah, cool times, cool times. So tomorrow here on Discord, 2 p.m. UTC, I'll be back to speak with the Tower Token project. Tower Token is a utility token for the Tower platform that comprises the token, free-to-play games, and the Crazy Kings franchise. So it's a blockchain game fundamentally. So yeah, we'll be talking with those guys tomorrow, and yeah, we'll be diving in and seeing what it's all about and how to get involved. And also, don't forget to check out the other show I do with DappRadar with two of my lovely colleagues, Rob and Charlie. We do a YouTube show called Off the Blockchain. Every Thursday, we dive into all the hottest topics, give you some of our own opinions. Not financial advice, of course, just opinions. So that's it from me. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care.